All right, so I'm going to finish up with July's World Watercolor Month prompts. Starting with this one, which was ocean. I went for shallow water with some sand dollars, a little crab, some fish, and I'm not sure if it's a duck or an osprey, a cormorant, or a pelican, but there is a bird paddling around overhead. Then the next word was drift. And I decided to go with snowdrift. Growing up in Wyoming, we saw high prairie snow fences a lot, and I think they're pretty ingenious. They're based on the idea that when high winds with a lot of energy in them come through, they hit the snow fence, which makes them slow down as it goes up and over or through the fence rails. So when it gets to the other side, it can't carry as much snow as was in it before, and it drops it and forms a big drift there instead of like out on the highway later on. So the next word after drift was weave. And this is from eons ago, like 30 years ago, when I was doing my student work study program at Southern Oregon State University, which at the time was SOSC, Southern Oregon State College. And I ran the art department's weaving lab. Then this one is submerged. And since I had just done the sand dollars underwater, I decided to go for submerged in something else. And this is from when my oldest son was 15 at the Smith River, and he asked his brother and his best friend to bury him in sand. He made a little backrest, sat down, stretched his legs out in front of him, and they were happy to bury him. And then this is that son's son, my grandson, with a bubble making machine. And I can't remember if there was actually a word. I think that was one I just did after I did the word of the day, because I want to practice people. Then my granddaughter is really into making what she calls candy, K-A-N-D-I, out of beads and elastic. And she's been making a bunch of bracelets. And so when the word was ornate, I decided to show her hands when they're all ornamented with her candy. And then the last word was tower. And living in Crescent City, you know that there was a reef called Dragon Rock Reef, and a big side wheeler came into Crescent City and unloaded and reloaded and took off up the coast to go to this mining camp with a camel and a bunch of prostitutes and a lot of gold bars. It ended up being the largest maritime disaster on the Pacific coast. I think only 9 people survived out of almost 300 when it hit the reef. So after that, Brother Jonathan was the name of the side wheeler. Point St. George Reef Light is the name of the lighthouse that was built. But it turned out to be a really deadly post too. Just landing and getting on and off the rock killed some of the lighthouse keepers. So I went for the dragon in a kind of English dragon style because of St. George. And I went for a very faint Brother Jonathan side wheeler. And my paint set, I never ever use the maroons and reds. So I refill and refill and refill the browns, the yellows, the greens, the blues. But the maroon ones almost always look untouched. So I decided I liked the idea of the maroon and golden. That was the last one for July 2025, and World Watercolor Month is wrapped up for me. Thank you for sharing the journey. Have a wonderful August. Bye.